I welcome back all our devotees. Thank you for joining us again for this segment on glimpses of the glorious past on 29th May. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, conducted a 2-day program called Ananda Spurna Program ASP at Karaikudi. Following are the pictures taken during the day 1. He also spoke to the media about the work that he was doing and the importance of meditation to help people live a conflict-free life. So this picture is from 29th May 2004. In the year 2005, on the same day, 29th May, on this day, in the year 2005, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with delegates of Kailasa experienced the Himalaya Yatra, visiting the Gangotri on the 7th day of their Yatra. We see the pictures of the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism with a large number of delegates and citizens of Kailasa, and we see Gangotri Glacier. 29th May 2006. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism revealed during the mystical Himalayan Yatra in May 2006, Bhagavan reveals timeless truth about the secret of birth and how individual consciousness enters the body. He reveals that it is only after birth happens does individual consciousness enter the body. It is the soul's prarabdha, decisions made before birth, that decides what body to be born in, where it will experience completion of its desires. It is this that decides the caste, not the caste it is born into. Varna, or caste system of Hinduism, is a structure designed by avatars and enlightened beings to help the soul experience the completion of its desires in the shortest possible time and find its true seeking, which is cosmic union with Paramashiva. So let us watch a video on this topic on secrets of conscious birth.
Prahlada's body was prepared with such an intense spiritual memory by the Narada, soul like Prahlada assumed, accepted that body. The way in which your body is prepared, that kind of soul only takes the body. If you understand this logic, you will be very clear about it. With what kind of memory your body is prepared, only that kind of soul chooses your body. There are millions of souls waiting for the body. Millions of bodies constantly being produced. Depends on the quality of the body and the quality of the soul. They make decision. The soul makes the decision of the quality of the body. Prahlada's body was prepared by Narada for an enlightened soul to land. When the ground was completely prepared, when the body was so pure and sattvic and energetic, simply the soul like Prahlada entered that body and assumed it. Started living in that body. So be very clear, only 3 kshana before the birth, soul enters individual consciousness, assumes the body. Many doctors are shocked by hearing my explanation. Many doctors are trying to question. Medically analyzing this, that, everything. Let me be very clear. Not only I was aware of my birth, I have seen many births happening. Many births happening. And even while working in the painless delivery. I was intensely working on this painless delivery. More than 14 or 15 deliveries we have done successfully without pain. Successfully, without even a trace of pain. Doctors are shocked. How can this happen? Because the monitor is showing there should be pain. And this girl is saying, no, nothing is there, I am okay. And doctors are afraid whether to do a surgery or whether to wait. Without a trace of pain, more than 14 deliveries successfully happened. Now I am working very seriously on creating a system through which we will be able to reproduce the same experience in everybody. So it will be a big service to womanhood if we are successful in creating the painless delivery thing. Not only painless delivery, there is another line I am working, conscious birth. Whenever we enter into the body, we enter into coma. Because we enter into coma, we forget the purpose of us taking body. You see, according to your purpose of taking the body only, you decide your prarabdha. Prarabdha means the life force or the desire energy which is going to run this body. When I speak, because by seeing their face only I'll understand how much has gone to their head, how much has not gone. So I'll give a further explanation or I'll expand. Please understand, your eyes have got tremendous power to tell me whether you understood or not. Your very eye expression, I know whether it has gone inside or not. That's the reason when I speak, I completely look the whole audience group, whether this side to that side or whatever it is. I'll always be covering because I'll see the group understanding, how much they understood. There are 3 levels. 1, sitting.
May 2011. On this day, devotees from across the globe experienced materialization with the blessings and grace of the Supreme Point of Hinduism, Bhagwan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam. These are few of the pictures of materialization of grains of rice shown by one of the devotees. 29th May 2012. On this day, the Supreme Point of Hinduism, Bhagwan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, delivered the presidential address, Nithyananda Satsang, expounding on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4, verse 39, inspiring us to invoke the power of Shraddha in our spiritual practice. Shraddha is usually translated as faith. The Supreme Point of Hinduism extends this definition to embrace courage, the fortitude required to endure the pressures that push us into enlightenment. When we yearn for the enlightened state, we feel a suffocation, a constraint that our present awareness is too small and too confined. With Shraddha, we can permit that suffocation to work on us, to burst us open like a seed sprouting into a tree. The Supreme Point of Hinduism gives us a technique to relieve the pressure, share our knowledge with others. This allows us to expand our boundary and release the sense of suffocation. Let us now watch a very special video on courageous trust can conquer all obstacles.
Today's satsang in Bhagavad Gita, 4th chapter, Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yoga, 39th verse.
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्परः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति।
श्रद्धावान् लभते ज्ञानं तत्पराः संयतेन्द्रियः ज्ञानं लब्ध्वा परां शान्तिम् अचिरेणाधिगच्छति. Translation: the person with the trust catches hold of consciousness. Beyond that, he subdues the power of the senses. Having attained the state of consciousness, very soon he acquires supreme auspiciousness. A person with Shraddha, the very word is so beautiful and powerful. Courageous trust is what I call Shraddha. Unless the seed has the courage to be pressured by the sand and break open, it can never become tree. Same way, unless your nerves, your cognizing system, the system through which you take cognizance of life in your system, means through which you perceive, unless that goes through the supreme spiritual yearning pressure, the suffocation due to the insufficient feeling of your capacity to perceive. Please understand. The only difference between you and me is that I can perceive little more deep into time and space. You can comprehend using your mind maybe little bit from the past and little bit in the present and little bit in the future and little bit happening around you. I can perceive little more in the past, little more in the present, little more in the future, little more in the outer and inner space. That's it. So the yearning to perceive more, suffocation of lower level of perception, is the basic requirement for enlightenment. Unfortunately, when that happens, you give different reasons for that suffocation and run away. Actually, when somebody comes into the organization, when I awaken their Kundalini, the suffocation of insufficient perception only is awakened in them. But unfortunately, they feel, I think this suffocation is because of structuring, because people don't care about me. They attribute to all outside and run away, escape. It is not because of any other person. It is because of your Kundalini awakening. When the Kundalini is awakened, the first thing will happen to you is you will feel the insufficient perception, the suffocation of insufficient perception. Shraddha is the strength to face the insufficient suffocation and break it, make it into a complete perception. Your capability to perceive, your capability to expand. Bhagavan is hitting Again and again on the same point, last 3 verses. You can see very clearly. Last 3 verses he goes on talking about spontaneous readiness for intense action. Still that word is there in my tongue, like a hangover of the sweet. See, if you eat some sweet you really like, at least for next 10 minutes you will have the hangover in your tongue. That word is such a beautiful word. Spontaneous readiness for intense action. Still that word is there in my throat like a sweet. Now Bhagavan uses beautiful word. Shraddhavan lapate jnanam. These 3 words are used in Vedanta again and again in many places. These 3 words are popular words in Atma Bodha, in many of the Shankara literatures, and the latter Sureshwara's Vartikas and Bodhendra Saraswati's Tikas and many other post-Shankara Vedantic literatures talk about this word, Shraddhavan lapate jnanam. All you need is the courage to stand your own yearning, intense yearning. I tell you, seed has to feel the pressure. From outside the pressure of sand, from inside the pressure to become a tree. Only then it slowly opens up and becomes a tree. Same way, when somebody comes here to learn from me, to imbibe from me, the first thing I do, I try to expand their perception, their capability to look into past, present, future, outer space and inner space. Please understand, if somebody is screaming at you, if you start immediately hating the person, your perception is too small in the outer space. But if you can wait and look into his pattern, and the pattern from which he is shouting, and respond only to that pattern, and wait for him to get out of that pattern, you have more perception, expanded perception in the outer space. Same way in your inner world. If you just go behind your instinct, again, reduced perception, suffocating perception. Instead, you wait, watch how ball rolls inside your inner space, how you respond from your pattern, how you try to fulfill something which can never be fulfilled, how you try to run behind something which is never your prarabdha, again and again and again. Standing with a tremendous understanding. I can give you one powerful technique, simple technique to reduce the suffocation and the pressure you feel. Go around and start teaching, connecting with people. Then you will see, you will neither lose your yearning, shraddha, nor go back to the granary to get fried. See, if you are just constantly working on you, you feel too much of suffocation. If you move out of you, the working, you go back to the granary where you will just get fried and you will never ever sprout again. Instead, use teaching, relating with people, connecting with others as a method, process, technique to ease the suffocation, to ease the suffering. Shraddhavan lapate jnanam tatparas samyatendriyaha jnanam labdva param shantim achirenadi gacchati. The person with trust catches hold of the consciousness. Beyond that, he subdues the power of the senses. Having attained the state of consciousness, very soon he acquires supreme auspiciousness. Enlightenment is literally the alchemy process. Sometimes people think it is option. I tell you, no. It is compulsion. Everybody who assumed the body has to achieve enlightenment. It is not just destination, it is destiny. It is destiny and destination of every individual who assumed the body.
Moving on to 29th May 2013. On this day, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism, Bhagwan Sri Nithyananda Paramashivam, delivered the presidential address Nithyananda Satsang, defining the true nature of power. No one ever suffers from lack of power. What we lack is knowledge. We feel powerless when we don't have the knowledge to accomplish a task. Since we don't know how to proceed, we conclude it is impossible. But that is only a choice, not a fact. If we have the power to choose, we are not powerless. Our real trouble stems from using our power to make wrong decisions, to choose to be powerless. It is an excuse to avoid responsibility. When we accept that we have had the power to cause everything happening in life, we understand we are never powerless and we take full responsibility. So let us now directly hear it from our beloved Guru, the Supreme Pontiff of Hinduism.
Nithyanandeshwara samarambam Nithyanandeshwari madhyamam Asmadacharya paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. इस समय हमारे साथ उपस्थित सभी दर्शकों और भक्तों का मैं प्रेम एवं आशीर्वाद सहित स्वागत करता हूँ। I welcome you all who are sitting with us around the world at this moment through Sadhana TV, Nithyananda TV and Lotus News channel. Today I'll expand on the individual's responsibility to reach the space of possibility. Listen. Please enter into the space of listening. First thing, know very clearly, do you want the space of possibility? Do you want transformation? Or the self-contradicting, conflicting, powerless space you are carrying now is what really you cherish and enjoy? First, find out that within you. Many times, people are happy and settled with that idea, I am doing whatever I can, what more I can do. This is best I can do. You don't know. For my background, I achieved this much. Oh. No. You are wrong. Then for your background, you see, if everybody looks at the past and based on that measure their capability, then there was a time everyone was a small child. You should be capable of only eating and sleeping. Then you don't need any capability other than eating and sleeping. No. First, decide clearly. Are you interested in being powerful? Are you interested in being powerful? Are you interested in really coming out of the conflicting, contradicting, powerless space you carry? Sit with you, come to terms with whatever you are carrying, look intensely. These are all what I am having. This all is what I want. I have to move from here to there. How am I? Don't ever bring the word I cannot. Don't ever bring the word I am powerless. It is wrong. Knowledgelessness only is wrongly identified by you as powerlessness. In the whole universe, there is no such thing as powerlessness. It is just you do not have the knowledge or you are not interested. If you know, I am not interested, then okay, clear. At least this is what you want. Be in the slum, in the drainage. That is where you are feeling very happy, settled. Or know it very clearly, you don't have knowledge. There is no powerlessness. There is no
Moving on 29th May 2014, on this day, the Supreme Point of Hinduism, Bhagwan Shri Nithyananda Paramashivam, in presidential address, Nithyananda Satsang, continued on giving context to the word Advaitic activism, explaining how we need to know the context for which you are holding the space. When you don't know the context, you are inauthentic and lack integrity. When you don't know the context of your life, you keep changing what you want to be. If you very clearly know the context and want to change, that is not wrong. Life runs by perpetual completion, which means completing all your incompletions and never letting them influence you again. On 29th May 2015, on this day, The supreme point of Hinduism visited the Kailasa in Rajapalyam and blessed the temple and enlightenment ecosystem being revived in Rajapalyam. On 29th May 2016, Inner Awakening Sharings with the supreme point of Hinduism, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam.
Living Shuddhadvaitam. My name is Ma Sangavasani Ananda and I am from Calgary, Canada. Even the size of this one hall is just overwhelming. And to know that then there's a temple and there's the dorms and there's the dining hall and the kitchen and the amount of work that's going on day and night, it's just mind-blowing, really. The deities are being packed up in the temple and in the dorms, all the bunk beds have been, taken apart and all the structures have to be taken down. Then in the kitchen area, in the dining hall, that all has to be taken down. The kitchen staff has been absolutely incredible, like pretty much cooking day and night. I don't know what yogic powers are awakened in them. Swami has said himself that at least once in a lifetime, a seeker has to go there to experience Varanasi and to experience the liberation. I've heard of different participants who had really huge breakthroughs with their third eye experience also. This whole structure, everything has been done to initiate all the participants into the 70 powers. We can go back into the world and start sharing all this and enriching others and causing for other people to come to inner awakening and for them to experience this also, so that everyone can have this experience. I know that I will be radiating this and also inspiring people by dealing with situations in a certain way. So instead of getting frustrated or stressed out in a certain situation, to unclutch and to look at what are the possibilities. I also facilitate healing. So I'm really excited to learn to use a third eye to do a body scan and to do healing through the eyes.
Local extortionist mafia and media houses trying to malign Paramahamsa Nithyananda and the Ujjain Simhastha Kumbh 2016. Anti-Hindu and extortionist forces, upset with the amazing success of the Kumbh, are trying to create a silly news story about some vendors claiming that they haven't been paid.
On 29th May 2017, the Supreme Point of Hinduism expounded on the truth about the most secretive subject, the power of Ashtakarma Siddhi. Swamiji explains the 4 types of organs in our body and how these organs grows based on unclutching mind can experience. On 29th May 2018, the Supreme Point of Hinduism initiated delegates into Vishesha Diksha, allowing them to gain direct access to Paramashiva to deepen their experience of Paramashivoham. See some of the pictures. On 29th May 2020, Kailasa's Department on Information Broadcasting, in collaboration with Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations for Peacekeeping, aimed at eradicating violence and promoting peace, telecasted the Nithyananda Satsang on how feeling connection with your Guru makes your life positive. As revealed by the Supreme Point of Hinduism, Jagat Guru Mahasangham, His Divine Holiness, Bhagwan Nithyananda Paramashivam. A sincere feeling of oneness with the Guru is the most powerful blessing that can happen to you. The Supreme Point of Hinduism went to relate the benefits he himself received from experiencing a feeling connection with his Gurus. The Supreme Point of Hinduism worked further on raising the consciousness of the delegates by bestowing them with a Kalabhairava Bhavas darshan for the day. Contributing to over 108 humanitarian causes of Sri Kailasa Uniting Nations, Kailasa's Nithyananda Hindu University marks today as Season 5, Day 7 of Paramashivoham. One of the major highlights of Kailasa's contributions through this convention is power manifestation, today being the day of Sahasrara powers. Delegates also received initiations into Kalabhairava Mula Mantra Diksha. Sannyasis of the Nithyananda Order of Monks and initiated acharyas worldwide affiliated with the Department of Education of Kailasa conducted a series of seminars focusing on the truths related to 7 layers of completion, Katopnishad, Akashic reading on death, and Kalabhairava Homa as revealed by the Supreme Point of Hinduism, inspiring millions towards the science of Hinduism. We see some of the pictures from 29th May 2020.
Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
With this, we come to the end of today's pre-satsang segment. Now, let us sit straight with our head, neck, spine in a straight line and chant the Mahavakya intensely and prepare ourselves to receive the Supreme Point of Hinduism. Let us sit in deep, restful awareness and chant Om Nithyananda Paramashivam. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda 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 Paramashivoham Om Nithyananda
Paramashiva's message directly from Kailasa. Listen. The existence of the super consciousness consciously, powerfully reflecting into your conscious existence, and your conscious existence recognizing your possibilities and powers of your superconscious existence is superconscious mutation. I wanted to make it very clear. This word mutants is misunderstood all over the world, especially the Hollywood movies and TV serials. The way they project the idea mutants, that is not the way Hinduism reveals about the conscious mutation. Please understand. The Hollywood movies and TV serials, what they talk about mutants is people with extra power, but not enlightenment or the intelligence, compassion to handle the power, compassion to handle the responsibility. It is more like a unconscious mutants from the lower worlds. Atala, Vitala, Sutala, Talatala, Patala. The lower worlds. That concept only is presented in Hollywood movies and TV series like a Heroes, a New Heroes TV series. All these presents almost kind of a frightening depiction about the mutants. Completely forget about that. Understand what Hindu Shastras, Hindu scriptures, Vedas and Agamas, Puranas talk about superconscious mutation. From the vertical time zone, the higher conscious beings, people who achieved superconsciousness, those beings, their superconsciousness, when that reflects in your individual conscious existence, you start manifesting great enlightenment, intelligence, compassion, highest order of human values and divine qualities. With those jnana, buddhi, higher values, you start manifesting powers, extraordinary shaktis. Please understand. In India, even 200 years before, this was a lifestyle. Every village will have few Shatavadanis. Shatavadani means a person who can perform 100 acts at a time. Please understand. Great Vedic scholars in Hindu tradition developed these powers possibilities through the superconscious mutation. Through this superconscious mutation, they could perform 100 acts at a time because all their non-mechanical parts of the brain was awakened through this superconscious mutation process. I want all of you to know elaborately our Hindu scriptures, history, books have documented. Puranas are not mythology or myth, it's a history. They have documented these superconscious mutants, people who had the superconscious mutation experience. The Panchapandavas' birth itself is a superconscious mutation. Kundi received the power to make the superconscious beings give their DNA and give birth to kids through their DNA. She brought Surya's DNA with the blessing of Surya. That superconscious mutant is Karana. Till the end, his great value, the greatest value of Surya is just giving. Radiance is his very nature. Anything Karna had, he just gave. The quality of giving, radiating, could never be removed from Karna because he is from the DNA of Surya, the greatest giver, Bhaskara, radiating. He gave his very life. He is the extraordinary giver. Then Kundi brought the DNA of Yamadharma Raja, Yama, who is the Lord of natural law, Dharma, and gave birth to a child in the same signs of superconscious mutation. Till the end, Dharma, Yudhishthira, never violates Dharma. The way he upheld Dharma is unimaginable. It's because superconscious mutation. Then comes Bhima. It's a superconscious being, Vayu. His DNA was brought, and Vayu's very DNA, superconscious mutation has been done, and Bhima was born. The power Bhima radiated, the power of Vayu Bhagavan, the power Bhima radiated is unimaginable. Arjuna is a superconscious mutant of Indra. Then Nahula and Sahadeva, they are the superconscious mutants of Ashwini Kumaras. These great beings are all superconscious mutants. Understand? Our idihasas, Puranas elaborately document these superconscious mutation and the signs of superconscious mutation. There's an elaborate description of the 7 enlightenment cities, Kashi, Kanchi, Madura, all these 7, Mayapuri, all these 7 enlightenment cities each having the population of 10,000 Sahasravatanis, 1 lakh Shadavatanis. Sahasravatani means who can perform 1,000 action at a time. Sadavadani means who can perform 100 action at a time. Please understand, what I am talking is not story. Even as recently as now, there are documentation in Mohal's court where they start awarding Shatavadanis. They start giving awards to Shatavadanis. There are documentation. In front of the court, people performed this 100 acts at a time. In Andhra, the Telugu Brahmins tradition, and even the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled in the banks of Kaveri in Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. All the 3, Godavari, Karnataka, Kaveri in Karnataka, Kaveri in the Tamil Nadu. In all 3 places, the Telugu Brahmins who came and settled are still keeping these Avadani traditions alive. Actually, there's an elaborate description how these rivers were energized with the superconscious energy for these Avadani traditions to be kept alive. The Ganga was used for Sahasravatana, Sahasravatanis, people who can perform 1,000 acts. They settled in Kashmir and Kashi. Then the next level, people who can perform little less than 1,000, but around 900. They settled in Yamuna. And you need to know, after the Ganga and Yamuna, people who can perform above 500, but less than 900. That group settled near Godavari. That is why when we describe the rivers and worship, Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati. Saraswati does not come third. Godavari comes third. Then comes Saraswati. Gange cha Yamune chaiva Godavari Saraswati Narmade Sindhu Kaveri
Paramashivoham. Om.
All your jnanendriyas and karmendriyas. Jnanendriya means the organs in your system which receives information and processes. Karmendriya means organs in your system which performs actions. Jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs who are responsible for jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be fully active and alive. Sorry for using too many Sanskrit terms. I'll try to translate every Sanskrit term I'm using and give English meaning. The knowledge receptors and action performers, these two organs, for example, tongue, when it tastes, it is called jnanendriya. When it speaks, it is called karmendriya. Same tongue, when it performs the action of receiving the taste and processing that information, it's called jnanendriya. The same tongue, when it performs the action of talking, it's called karmendriya. Like that, the jnanendriyas and karmendriyas and the internal organs which are responsible for these jnanendriyas and karmendriyas to be active. For example, liver. Only if your liver is absolutely detoxed and fully active, you will have a deep ability to coordinate all the actions. Please understand, coordination of all the actions needs not just the support of the brain, it needs the support of your liver. Because your liver is responsible for all your internal organs functioning smoothly. So, the avadani has to keep his whole body detoxed. If you are an avadani, you will automatically keep your body detoxed. Only if you are detoxed, you will be able to be an avadani. Keeping all your karmendriyas, jnanendriyas and internal organs active, alive, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically, in a synced way, is called avadana. I myself have seen an avadani who can smell, listen to the music, taste some of the food items, and hear the numbers, flower names, various other names being uttered, and see the scenes in front of him, which is constantly changed, various paintings, mix all this and sing poetry without missing the order. He can see everything, listen everything, and during this whole process, somebody will be touching his back with peacock feather at various points. He will narrate this whole thing in a poetic way without missing the order. This multiple performance avadanis is one aspect of superconscious mutation. Then the next, using Shastras. That is what now I am making Suvignana master. See, in Shankara's history, if you see Adi Shankara's history, two of his disciples never studied anything. Totakacharya, Bhatmapada. They just served him. Just by superconscious mutation, he made both of them Shastravadanis. Shastravadanis, like Sahasra Avadanis on Shastra. Sahasra Avadanis means they can perform 1,000 actions at a time. Shastra centered. He made both of them Sarvanyas. What Mandana Mishra did through the self-effort, his whole life, Adi Shankara gave it through superconscious mutation to Todaka and Bhatmapada Acharyas, just like that. Sarvanyatva can be transmitted through the initiation. And Sahasravadana of Shastras can be transmitted just like that. Adi Shankara has demonstrated it. Then Sahasravadanis of Shastras. How do you think Drona could transmit this whole science to all the students in short period? Especially the capacities of Arjuna, Bhima. If you see all their capacities, unimaginable capacities cannot come by training. It is only the science of superconscious mutation. Just within 7 years, Karna receives everything including Brahmastram from Parasurama. How? It's impossible by training, but only through the superconscious mutation. Understand? Superconscious mutation is a science. There are 25 branches of Sahasravatana, performing 1,000 actions at a time centered on organs. This tradition is kept alive in the Telugu Brahmins community who settled in the banks of Godavari and Kaveri. Understand what I am saying? Even now, there is a living stream, at least few people. We have Shodasavadanis, means who can perform 16 actions at a time. I want to tell you, put this on record, how the invaders of India destroyed this Avadani tradition. They understood these Avadanis are the powerful people keeping this Hindu tradition alive. So these invaders started rewarding the Avadanis. Everyone thought, why will award and reward avadanis, Hindus, because all these Hindu avadanis have started coming out openly, publicly to receive the award and reward. They collected everyone and finished them off once for all. That is the way the living stream of the avadanis were destroyed by the invaders. Understand? But one good news I have for you, all of you, is fortunately, this avadani, the superconscious mutation, is done in the DNA level. If the Telugu Brahmin DNA is available, Telugu Brahmin kids are available, that is enough. I can reinitiate them, revive the whole avadani tradition, which is what I am doing through our Gurukul. This is the good news we have. The Gotra of avadanis, the Telugu Brahmins who carry this avadanis DNA. If the child is initiated, into our manifestation, immediately he reclaims, his DNA is awakened, and the whole avadana powers starts manifesting. The superconscious mutation starts happening. Shrikant Iyer is sending a message. His family also, there are avadanis. Shrikant Iyer, you are a Tamil Brahmin. That is not called avadanis. That is a different science. It is yogic powers. Please understand. The Telugu Brahmins kept the avadana tradition alive. Tamil Brahmins kept the mantra shastra alive. The avadanis which you are talking, Shrikant Iyer, your family, you are actually Tamil Brahmin, means the Tanjavur Brahmins, Tambra's family. Hope I am right. And people who carry that Iyer title, that DNA, your avadhanatva is manifested through mantra shastra. Fundamentally, the Tamil Brahmins avadhana tradition, that superconscious mutation is shastra centered. The Telugu Brahmins avadhana tradition is organ centered. Karmendriya, Jnanendriya centered power is the Telugu Brahmins avadhana tradition. The Tamil Brahmins, see, I don't want to create any conflict or community fight here. I am just putting all these things in record. Whatever I saw in the Akashic records and Shastras and the traditions and books, I am putting it on record. The Tamil Brahmins have the Sahasravatana capacity, Shastra centered. Once the Tamil Brahmin boy or a girl goes through a superconscious mutation, he can perform avadana on any shastras. On any shastras. The shastra-centric avadana performance, Sahasravadana performance, science was kept alive, focused by Tamil Brahmins. Please understand, it's not that Tamil Brahmins never studied the avadana tradition of Telugu Brahmins, but each of them took up one branch and kept it alive. And Shastra-centered avadana tradition, Shastra means weapon, Shastra, Astra-centered avadana tradition was kept alive by Parasurama's Gotra in UP. The whole UP area the modern day Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, in that area, the Parashurama's Gotra is still alive. They have that Sahasravadana tradition centered on Shastras and Astras. Still, I have seen one Brahmin sadhu who can pick up a grass and chant a mantra and throw that grass. It will catch fire by itself and go and fall some 20-30 kilometers away and blast. I have seen a sadhu who can perform this avadana. Please understand, the organ-centric superconscious mutation avadani tradition was kept alive in Telugu Brahmin stream. Shastra-centric, mantra-centric, Sahasravadana tradition was kept alive by Tamil Brahmins, and Astra-Shastra, weapon-centric avadana was kept alive by the Parashurama's Gotra in UP and Uttarakhand, the modern day Uttar Pradesh and UP, the UP, Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand. And Ramesh Ramani is sending a message that they are Telugu Brahmins, and one of his great-grandmother has written the Ramayana on wall. Oh God. Actually, these are living, what to say, that living documentations. I am getting so many messages. And Nitya Ramani is saying that Isha and Keshava are of Telugu Brahmins. Can they be initiated, Swamiji? Please understand, for the superconscious mutation, they have to be in a Gurukul. And Nitya Ramani, if you want 2 kids for the family, keep Isha and Keshav. Now plan to give birth to more kids. And you are young, you are not old. You are young, you can. Give birth at least 2 to 3 kids more. Send them to Gurukul because it needs a full attention for their DNA to fully manifest. Mainly the ecosystem where they continue every day, they have to manifest powers. Their food. You need to understand, Nitya Ramani, because you asked, I am telling you, the lifestyle and the kind of words people utter around, all that plays a major role when a child flowers into avadani. The fear and greed, everything should be centered on power manifestation, not on money manifestation. See, it is not that our Gurukul kids don't have fear or don't have greed, but it is all centered on power manifestation. They get greedy to manifest more powers. They get fear if they don't manifest powers. But it is not centered on money. Oh, will I get a job? Will I get this certificate? Will I get that? So understand, the whole life has to be focused on power manifestation and becoming avadanis. the real reason why I am so focused on Gurukul is my work is not just writing some 1,000 books, giving 1,000 satsangs. My work is super conscious mutation, making thousands and thousands of avadanis, power manifestors, demonstrably. Please understand one more thing. I want to put this whole thing on record. Good news is this whole science is recorded inside the DNA. So as long as the last Brahmin is alive, this science cannot be destroyed, cannot be eliminated. That's the good news. The great news is Paramashiva has empowered me. He has given me the power to revive, awaken, and do the superconscious mutation and revive that power of Sahasravadani. So Nityaramani, first thing, you are young, you are not old. Both of you are young. You can plan for at least 2 or 3 more kids and send them to Gurukul after the age of 7. This will be equivalent to giving $1 billion to Hindu society. Understand? When you give one child to Gurukul and when he starts manifesting powers, a tradition is revived. Not just one person. A tradition is revived. I always tell people, when one Hindu woman is taken away, it is not that we lose one woman, yet whole lineage is lost. Same way, if the one child, Brahmin child, or one Brahmin girl starts manifesting this avatana powers, it is not that one girl or one boy is manifesting. The whole gotra, the whole order, the tradition, the heritage, that whole lineage is revived. The kids who are staying in their home with parents, I can initiate them, give them few powers. But becoming like a Sahasravatani, you need the ecosystem where the kids manifest these powers intensely. I wanted to tell all of you who put the message now, Ramesh Ramani, Nithya Ramani, Shrikant Iyer, all of you, take this very seriously. One child from the Brahmin tradition, Brahmin DNA, please understand, I am not a casteist person. All of you should know, I myself is not a Brahmin DNA. I am from Adishaiva Velalar community. So you should know that I am not a casteist person, and I talk so much about social justice, and I work for the social justice. Here I am talking about the biology of the superconscious mutation. I am not talking about the social community structure. I am talking about the biology of the superconscious mutation. So understand, if one Brahmin child becomes part of the Gurukul and he starts manifesting powers and sarvanyatva, and he starts manifesting this avadanitva. Not just the one child, the whole lineage is revived. Hindus need to realize last 300 years, heavy persecution, huge effort was put to destroy this Avadani science, the superconscious mutation science, because this is the core of Hinduism. Core of Hinduism is not just in Shastras, not just in temples. All that is great. Keeping it alive. All that is container. Content is the superconscious mutation process. Understand, I am not disrespecting Shastras or the temples. No way. But all I am telling you is Shastras and temples are all containers. See, when invaders invaded India, they burnt libraries, whole thing. Some of our libraries was burning for 2 years. Around 20 million books, manuscripts have been burnt. But the whole thing was rewritten within next 10 years by just 10 Brahmins sitting in a remote forest, because in their DNA the whole thing is programmed and in their memory the whole thing is there. They just sit and go on writing. Patanjali himself says, I took my 1,000-headed Patanjali Adisesha farm and wrote this whole Mahabhashya. It means he became the Sahasravatani, the 1,000 independent, intelligent brain tracts. He activated it, and all the whole 1,000 track revealed all the 1,000 branches of the knowledge. Patanjali is the Tamil Brahmin who is a Sahasravatani, mantra, Shastra-centric Sahasravatani. Is the Tanjore Brahmin. Shastra-centric Sahasravatani. He reveals the whole Mahabhashya. So if you just have one Patanjali, even if 1,000 libraries are burnt, no problem. They will repeat it and rewrite it, pen the whole thing down in next 10 years. That is the way, even though millions of temples are destroyed and the libraries got burnt, we immediately came back. We immediately revived the whole thing in next generation, within next generation. Now is the time to revive not just the Avadani science of organ-centric, mantra-centric, Shastra and Shastra-centric, all the 25 branches of Avadani tradition. Sahasravatana in all 25 branches, the mantra, power manifestation. Our manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana is one of the science branches. We can create kids who can perform 1,000 power manifestation at a time. Sahasravatana at a time. I can talk about all these things. With Paramashiva's grace, I have a right to talk about all these things because I already demonstrated many things which I am talking. Understand? The organ-centric Sahasravatana. That is what is this remote vision, ability to read blindfolded, and Shastra-centric Sahasravatana. That is what is that any book, without opening the eyes, people can The kids can just tell what is there in which page. Already Nityananda demonstrated this power multiple times. Sarvanyatva. Not just Nityananda. Many kids along with Nityananda demonstrated this power multiple times. And astra-centric, astra-shastra-centric, Sahasravatana. This comes under this materialization. Many other power manifestations come under this Astra and Shastra-centric Sahasravatana. You can receive anything you want and send anything you want. Many of these powers, these Avadana traditions, these sciences I have demonstrated. Now, through a large-scale Gurukul, I'll be taking this whole science to the whole world. See, the good news I have for all of you is, with the grace of Paramashiva, we demonstrated it is possible. We already revived the foolproof. The methodology is success, end to end, the quality control passed. That is done. Now we will have to make it available to the whole world by making large numbers, like 10,000 balasans, 10,000 female sannyasinis, 10,000 rudraganyas, manifesting these different Avadana traditions. That is what we have to do, and that is what I am doing. That is what I am focused, and I know what all the dangers and attacks possible, what all the persecution, dangers and attacks possible. I am first doing all the protection needed to protect once I start doing this work. Understand? With the grace of Paramashiva, we will do it, and he is doing it. He is really doing it. He is doing great work in large scale. Great work in large scale. I am just creating the infrastructure needed to host these thousands of kids, thousands of Gurukul Balasans, thousands of sannyasis, rudraganyas, apat sannyasis, who will work on the superconscious mutation, start manifesting these powers. I'm just working. So understand, by the time I evolve these infrastructures, all of you who put the message, Shrikant, Nityaramani, Ramesh Ramani, all of you, you guys plan for getting more and more Brahmin kids. Your very DNA which you want to revive. Start working. If you feel, oh, it is little late for me, Swamiji, especially Ramesh Ramani may say, I think Swamiji, it is little late for me. But no problem. You have daughters, you have sons and daughters. You tell your daughters to give birth. Let the next generation. See, if possible, you give birth. If not, your sons and your daughters. Ask them. If you want to 2 child for your family, have 2 for you, and give few more kids birth to at least 2-3 more, and let that child go and be part of the Gurukul and revive the Sanatana Hindu Dharma. I tell you, sending a child to the Gurukul will be equivalent to donating $1 billion to Hindu society. Because even if you give $1 billion, what will I do? I have to find a living DNA, kids, who will go through the superconscious mutation process and manifest this to the world. I can do all the Sahasravatana, but one person doing, maybe it will bring glory to me, but I am interested in bringing the glory to the whole Hindu tradition, not just me. I am interested in reviving this whole tradition where 10,000 kids perform the superconscious mutation process of Sahasravatana. I want all the Brahmins to know, especially if you are from a family where alcohol and non-veg is not a lifestyle, where still you keep the Brahminical traditions alive, you are carrying something extraordinary in your DNA which can revive Hinduism. So I request the Brahmins, especially still who are living the Brahminical lifestyle of no non-veg, no alcohol, that lifestyle. You all need to know you are carrying something extraordinary in your DNA, and your kids not only can be the greatest gift for reviving Hinduism, they can be greatest gift for the whole humanity. Sonali Gupta is asking, what was the Kashmir Avatani tradition? Kashmir Avatani tradition was power manifestation science. On power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. If you see the whole Kashmiri Shaivite tradition, it was all about the power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. They were able to manifest 1,000 powers at a time. Sahasravatana on Shakti Avishkarana tradition. See, a university, Hindu university, this is the way it existed. Fortunately, I could get the blueprint of at least 12 universities that existed. Tarukavanam. Tarukavanam is one of the greatest Hindu university where the rewriting of all the Puranas happened. The Tarukavana rishis. And then the Kadambavanam. Kadambavanam is around the Madurai. There was a university. Madurai was called Kadambavanam, and around the Madurai, one university. And Vedaranyam, forest of Vedas in Tamil Nadu, Vedaranyam, and Kanchi. Like that, different universities' blueprints I got. Fortunately, Paramashiva gave access to me. In that, I saw all these universities had 25 branches of Sahasravatanis. People who can perform 1,000 actions spontaneously, simultaneously, synergetically. Because of the superconscious mutation, either centered on organs, or centered on Shastras, scriptures, or centered on Shakti Avishkarana, power manifestation, or centered on Astra Shastra Vidyas. Like these 25 branches, the metallurgy and arts, the whole Vishwakarma Sampradaya. Understand, we had Vishwakarmas who can perform 1,000 acts at a time on the science of sacred arts. Vishwakarmas are called Vishwakarma Brahmins. You should know that. They are Brahmin DNA. That was one of the branch in the 25 branches of the university. With Paramashiva's grace, we will revive all the 25 branches. Sahasravadanis in each branch, at least few thousand kids, so that it is kept alive forever in the future. I have already demonstrated the grace of Paramashiva, the science Paramashiva gave to me is working. I have already demonstrated. Now I just needed to scale it up. And I also realized what all the external attacks and internal attacks possible. When I scale it up, based on that, I am creating an infrastructure where once we start doing it, we will not need to waste our time in defending ourselves from the external attacks and internal attacks. We have a complete foolproof system where there is no attacks. We are absolutely safe. With the grace of Paramashiva, he has already given us that kind of a legal, political structure. Now we are just making infrastructure. And this is what is the real revival of enlightened civilization. Conscious civilization. And I know now what I said, what I focused, and what I delivered is too much even to grasp. These Avadani traditions which I described, 4 different Avadani traditions. Organ-centered, mantra-centered, Shastra-Astra-centered, sacred arts centered. Just understanding this 4 itself, you need to watch this satsang at least for 10 days. And you should first of all understand Avadani. You should see few Avadanis. Only then you will understand what is this Avadani tradition. Only if you see my Gurukul Balasans manifesting some 10-12 powers, you will understand this power manifestation is possible. Till then you can never understand. You may think, no, it is not possible. It is all just humbug. You can go on. But only if you see, check for yourself, foolproof, you will understand, wow, it is all true. Same way, only if you see few Avadanis, you will understand. The Avadani tradition is possible. Is possible. And understand all these various Avadani traditions. Totally 25 different Avadani traditions existed in Hinduism, documented as the documents I could see. Whatever documents I could see, I saw these 25 traditions. So, I am going to revive this 25, and Paramashiva has blessed me with the knowledge, ability, energy, Kundalini Shakti to perform the superconscious mutation for all these 25 traditions. In these 25 traditions, each one represents one face of Paramashiva. One face of Paramashiva represents one Avadani tradition. Avadani is a person who can perform multiple acts simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. Because of the superconscious mutation happened in him. It can be in the field of organs. It can be in the field of Shastra scriptures. It can be in the field of power manifestation, Shakti Avishkarana. It can be in the field of Sthapatya Veda, sacred arts. Sthapatya Veda. It can be in the field of food and medicine, Ayurveda, Ayush Veda. Food and medicine both are considered as the same branch in Hindu tradition. Food and medicine was not separate. It was one and the same in Hindu tradition. And all these 25 branches, with the grace of Paramashiva, we will be reviving through the superconscious mutation process. Paramashiva himself is here to do this work, to do this job. All the major Hindu universities we had, Naimisharanya, Tarukavana, Katambavana, Vedaranya, all these were the great universities which had all these 25 traditions. 25 Sarvanya Pitas. Understand? Temples, monasteries, gurukuls, libraries, all of them are containers. Content is this superconscious mutation process. Especially if you are from a Brahmin community who's still living the Brahminical traditional lifestyle of no non-veg and no alcohol. Actually, if you don't do Gayatri, if you don't do Sandhya Vandanam, if you don't do Agnihotra Mandala also is okay. I am not saying don't do. Even if you have not performed all of that is also okay, because that can be just revived. But the non-veg and alcohol and drugs directly affects the very DNA structure. The capacity of the DNA is lost if you allow non-veg and alcohol and drugs. If you have kept non-veg, alcohol, drugs away and lived the Brahminical lifestyle, if you just keep these three away, that Brahminical lifestyle will be more than enough. You are still carrying a powerful DNA which can be a great blessing not only for Hindus, for the whole world. Because if you give one child, for example, Paramesha, Shri Advait and Mahadvait gave Paramesha and Tattva to Gurukul, especially Paramesha. The way he started manifesting powers when he was a kid, it is not that now he is only one sannyasi or one kid, one balasant manifesting powers. He is going to revive, inspire a lineage. I am giving an example. If he becomes a Pitadipati, once fully able to perform Sahasravatana, 1000 actions, he can easily perform 50 at least right now. 50 power manifestation he can perform right now, simultaneously, spontaneously, synergetically. I just need to support him with the ecosystem, and it will be just hardly 2-3 years work for him to become 1000 Sahasravatani in power manifestation, in Shakti Avishkarana. Because he's a Tamil Brahmin, the Tanjavur Brahmin DNA, he will be naturally centered on mantra, the Shastra, scripture centric Sahasravatani, that he will naturally manifest with the power manifestation. Because power manifestation directly I am giving. So you will be able to do both, like a power manifestation Sahasravatana and mantra, Shastra manifestation Sahasravatana. Both you will be able to easily perform. So when he does that, if he becomes a Pitadipati, a sannyasi, he will be inspiring millions of the next generation to become sannyasis and take these signs forward. If he decides to become Grihastha, when he grows up and if he decides he wants to get married, at least his whole family and the lineage, that Karuvali Parambarai, will start carrying the same awakened superconscious mutation DNA. Anyway, he will be blessing for the world. If he takes up Grihastha, he will be making few kids manifesting. If he becomes sannyasi, he will be making few thousand kids manifesting this Sahasravatana. That's all. Understand? What I am talking is a clear Paramashiva's blueprint. He will do it. He is doing it. He is doing it. I tell you, the real work is all about superconscious mutation. Actually, when Paramesha had a fracture in the hand, it is because of my fear for Mahadvait and Rishi Advait, I sent him to hospital. If there was no interference of Mahadvait and Rishi Advait, I would not have sent him to hospital. Because I know how to heal it simply, just by the superconscious mutation. But Mahadvait is terrorized. What can I do? I have to be legally right as per the Indian law. So I said, all right, take him to hospital and do what need to be done. I only consciously supported him. If I did not have Mahadvait, Rishi Advait's interference, all it would have taken for me is 10 minutes to remove the pain next 10 minutes to make the bone set. And after half an hour, I'll tell them, hey, now take the X-ray and show that it's all clear. The X-ray will prove he's all right, it's all clear. That's it. No question of any other things needed. Because this Avadana tradition, when the superconscious mutation starts happening inside a child, he gets the power to manifest the body as he wants. Paramesha did not have pain when he had a fracture, his connection with me. But he has to be sent to hospital for medical attention is because of Mahadvaita and Rishi Advait's fears. Middle class Hindus, what to do? For last 5-6 generations, even they do not know that this kind of avadana is possible, and even they have not seen their parents or great-grandparents manifesting these powers. At least 3-4 generations it is gone. So they are all jittery, shaky middle-class Hindus. Always they want to have a plan B, that fall back. And it is not their mistake. That is the way now, because for so many generations you did not see all this is possible. Forget about Mahadvait, Rishi Advait, Paramesha getting medically treated. When I had the fracture, not only I did not have pain, but finally, no hospital was ready to do the surgery without anesthesia. I am telling, hey, I am an adult. I will write and give you that I don't want anesthesia. You perform the surgery directly. Actually, I did not even want to go to the allopathy hospital. I want to go to the Puttur. In Tamil Nadu, there is a place called, sorry, not Tamil Nadu, Andhra. There is a place called Puttur, Nagari Puttur, where the Sahasravadanis of medical field, in that one branch is still alive. Any kind of fracture, they will cure it without any surgery in 10 days. From all over the world, people come there. I want to go there actually. But these guys were constantly, these doctors, no, we cannot discharge you from the hospital and it has to be done within next few hours. All these big mess, and I thought, oh God, even I have to be legally obedient. Obey legally. Even I cannot go through the surgery without anesthesia. That was. But what to do? When you are in a country, you have to go through their legal system. Actually, the moment I had the fracture, I told my disciples, hey, drive to Nagari Puttur directly. Don't go to Bangalore. Somehow these fellows said, no, Swamiji, let's first take the X-ray and know where the fracture is exactly and take it to the Nagari Puttur so that they will repair it. We will go to hospital only for diagnosis, but treatment we will go to Nagari Puttur. But once you enter the hospital, they say, no, we can't discharge you. You are a VIP and the hospital will get the bad name if we send you out. And I said, all right, perform at least surgery without anesthesia. But the law is law. They said, no, it's a law of the land. They have to first of all report to police and they have to report to government because a VIP having a hand fracture and they are answerable to any of the repercussions or outcomes. Anyhow, but I tell you, only when I demonstrate the powers of the superconscious mutation, world will realize the greatest gift Hindus are having, which need to be shared with the whole world. This will be the greatest gift Hindus will be giving to the whole world. I'll continue with my initiations into superconscious mutation in the further sessions. Today I wanted to reveal the blueprint, Paramashiva's blueprint. In the further satsangs, I'll give detailed initiations. So, with this, I bless you all. Let's all radiate with integrity, authenticity, responsibility, enriching, causing, living Shuddhatvaita Saivam, Paramadvaitam, the state, space, powers, being, superconsciousness, and Kailasa of Paramashiva, Paramashivoham, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, the eternal bliss, Maha Kailasa of Paramashiva, Paramashivoham, Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham, the eternal bliss, Nithyananda. Thank you. Be blissful.
Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham. Om Nithyananda Paramashivoham.
That Bhagavan is again and again referring to and making us understand we are not just the matter, we are matter also. We are consciousness, the light itself, which manifests as materialistic world. When we raise our frequency, we are in the consciousness. That is why the inner chatter transforms into the ajaba jaba. It becomes consciousness. As long as it is inner chatter, just the thoughts, it is materialistic world. Here it says beyond the thoughts, experiencing the thoughtless space and weightless simply happens to you. And beautifully, Bhagavan gives a reference of Trilanga Swami, who lived literally for 200 years. He was initiated by his guru when he was 80 years. And he lived in such a beautiful space like a Navaduta. That means he was not even having any cloth on him. And he used to go and sit and levitate in the banks of Ganga. And it was be seen by everybody and get the blessing. And sometimes the Ganga would raise and even swallow Trilanga Swami. And after a few days, when the Ganga goes low, and the kids would dig him out of the sand, and he would shrug and just walk out. He used to be in such a beautiful space, manifesting the highest power. And once the Britisher caught him and put him in jail because he's not wearing anything. And after the jailers came outside, they saw another one Swami, Trilanga Swami. And they went to ashram, they saw another one Swami. Then they said, this is too much for them to even grasp. And they just set him to free. All these great avadutas happened on planet Earth to make us understand how we exist beyond what we understand as matter and as consciousness, to again and again showcase to the world how we can manifest all these powers. Here, the Shakshi Pramana of how they levitated a coin in the water glass. You can take a copper coin or a stick also and keep it on the glass of water and first move it on the surface of the water just by power of third eye, and then try to bring it down to the bottom and raise it up as a levitation. And all this great science that matter is not just matter, like how our body is also matter. We think we are only in the body. If you understand, you'll exist in everything that exists around you. That is what Bhagavan says, the deep samadhi, nirvikalpa space. You understand that everything exists is you. And simply you can move that also, that object, just like you move your body, which is also a matter. And all we need to do is now hold the space of Paramashiva and chant the Mahavakya to manifest the power. So you can take a coin or a stick and have a transparent glass of water. You can mark the water level also. Sometimes the water level goes down. And all we are going to do is for yourself, for others. Place the copper coin inside the water and which is transparent on a surface, flat surface. And we are going to either, if it is a copper coin, we are going to move it up. If it is just a stick, we are going to move it down inside the water cup, inside the water, just by the power of Mahavakya, by the sound and clearly by the holding the space of oneness with Paramashiva, that Paramashiva is real consciousness, which is the intelligent and energy which manifest all the dimension in your world, which is also going to create this reality for you now. So all you need to do is sit straight with your head, neck and spine in a straight line. Bring Paramashiva to your third eye. Constantly chant the Mahavakya and raise your frequency. That is what Bhagavan says. When you unclutch from this world, you will start experiencing the higher states of consciousness. Now all we are going to do is unclutch from everything that we know as us and dissolve and disappear into Paramashiva. And that very space, waking up as Paramashiva, will recognize ourselves as the ultimate space of oneness and manifest the powers of Paramashiva. No need to keep checking. All that you need to do is set up a camera and you experience the quantum entanglement, manifesting the powers of Paramashiva. Now let's chant the Mahavakya intensely, continuously, holding the space. Paramashiva is real. Sit with 25 heads, 75 eyes and 50 hands. Very clearly see yourself as Paramashiva and chant the Mahavakya, not just listen, but chant the Mahavakya to raise your frequency. If you don't chant, then the inner chatter will be chanting. So you chant the Mahavakya and raise yourself into the space of